So we're going to talk about the practice of Inspire a Shared Vision. So this practice contains two commitments. They are envision the future by imagining exciting and ennobling possibilities, and enlist others in a common vision by appealing to shared aspirations. So if we look at the first of these commitments, envision the future by imagining exciting and ennobling possibilities. So exemplary leaders pretty much always have an exciting goal or dream. They have a desire to change the way things are and to create something special and usually unique. Their absolute belief in what they envision pulls them forward, and they're confident in their ability to make extraordinary things happen. Their vision impacts their daily decisions and their daily behavior. They're also usually brilliant at communicating their vision in words, images, and actions. The second commitment, enlist others in a common vision by appealing to shared aspirations. People will not follow a vision unless they accept a vision as their own and commit to it. The problem is that commitment cannot be commanded, it can only be inspired. So great leaders have a passion for something other than their own fame and fortune. They care about making a difference in the world. They understand that if they do not care deeply for and about something and someone, then they cannot expect others to feel a sense of conviction either. So leaders need to find out what their team members' aspirations are too, asking them questions like what their ideal company would look like, what their hopes and dreams are for themselves and their families, what keeps them awake at night, and what drives them to do their very best. So the biggest challenge around vision is being authentic about it. So what we find is a lot of leaders have got a kind of intellectual idea of what vision should be. It's more like a set of goals that they've brainstormed with people, and there's no real heart in it. This is quite a difficult thing to do because since we're young, we're often told how we should be, and we're often encouraged to be, fit into society and not actually be daring to be different. And really, to be visionary is usually being different. So you need to be able to withstand criticism, people laughing at you, and you need to find what your heart really, really wants when you're living a vision. And it can seem silly, but all visionaries, when you look at history, they've often looked silly, and in hindsight, people have wondered how they could have missed the brilliance of the vision. So it can be quite challenging to be a little bit different when you're visionary. Another challenge around vision is getting a clear image. So if I said to you, Paris, France, what would come up in your mind? For most people, the Eiffel Tower will come up really quickly. There's this clear image of Paris. And the same needs to happen with a vision. So when you do a vision, when you create a vision statement, you actually want an image associated with the vision because it makes it easily understandable for people. So I'm going to tell you a little story about vision and an executive team that we were working with around vision. So this executive team did a typical thing that most teams do, is they got together, they did some brainstorming, they came up with the key elements of a vision, they did some wordsmithing, and they had this vision. Now, the interesting thing is that when the CEO spoke about the vision, he wasn't emotionally engaged with it. And I was running a session with this team, and then we came to this moment of truth where the director said to the CEO, look, we don't believe you when you speak the vision. It's not authentic. So eventually it took the CEO probably about 3 weeks of looking at it and working with it and looking at his own history. He finally came up with an authentic vision. But before he spoke it, he voiced a fear. He said to his team, what happens if I'm authentic and I want this vision to happen, but some of you don't want this vision to happen? And it was a remarkable response from his team. They said, look, if we don't want to buy into the vision that you actually believe in, then we shouldn't be here or you shouldn't be here. But having a vision that you don't really believe in is not worth any of our time. And that was a really interesting learning for us as a consultancy too, because we've usually taken an approach to have a vision by consensus and hoped that the CEO or the leader actually had a genuine, authentic connection to the vision. We've now subsequently learned that that's the first principle. Make sure that the leader actually has a deep conviction in the vision, believes in it, wants it to happen, and then you need to see if your team members can come along with the ride. Of course, for them to come along for the ride, they need to have some sense of self-interest being met, We're all self-interested. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But a good leader will be able to tap into that self-interest for people that they're leading. And that's what you need to find out as a leader. What do your people really aspire to? What do they want?